Hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is Paddock Live. We've got loads to talk about today. We are talking midfield. Bruno Fernandes looks like he's going to be staying. Then we've got Tonali, who I think may be injured, but that doesn't matter because United may well be interested in the summer. And apparently a fee has been named for Camavinga. It looks like Real Madrid are trying to sell him.
The starting fee.
The starting fee, at least, yeah. We'll find out what exactly that goes up to. I'm joined by Tom Cooney. How are you, Tom?
I'm very well.
You good?
For having me on, Joe. Yeah.
Thanks for coming back. I mean, you came on last week. You got a taste of the format of the show.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
And you decided you wanted a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit fun. It's a little bit free.
Yeah, that's very good. You can see Tom's got his tracksuit top on, but behind the camera as well, I say behind the camera, also in front of the camera, we've got producers Ben and Harry, both that have been doing their kit of the day challenge over on Instagram. So each day they're wearing a retro kit.
Ooh, I've got a kit underneath this.
Have you? What you got?
It's a niche one.
Tom's got me.
They've been doing a competition on Instagram, and I'm going to reveal who's won today to them. They don't know who's won. What have you got on though?
It's new. It's not niche.
It's new.
It's a lovely Moldova one, but it's got got really nice kind of carpeted.
Carpeted.
It's like a carpet thing, and then on the sleeves. It's like all that on the sleeves there.
Oh wow!
It's lovely.
There's all sorts going on.
I bought it in a winery.
Where's your football?
Stop. What do you mean you bought it in a winery?
Well, I was in Moldova in February.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? It's nice to buy a shirt from where you're from. Sorry, from the place that you go. Little memento. And I thought, I'll buy a Moldova international kit. Couldn't find one anywhere. Traipsing around. I gave up. And then I was on a wine tour in a winery out of the city. And they just had these shirts.
Is wine big in Moldova?
Massive, Joe.
Even in Feb? Or was it surely the sticks were bare?
So do you know what's? I mean, it's really, really cool actually. They've got in Moldova, north and south of the capital, they've got the largest wine collection in the world and the largest winery in the world.
No way.
2.5 million bottles.
The largest winery in the world is in Moldova.
Yeah. Honestly.
You could give me, how many countries are there? 220? You could give me 300 guesses and I still wouldn't have guessed that. That's unbelievable.
You drive through these tunnels really fast, all wine in the walls.
Do you know in France they're not allowed to water the grapes? It just has to be rainfall. Natural. Oh. You're not allowed to water it, apparently. That can't be true, can it? Right, let's get into our first story. What have we got today? Bruno, Jim will catch a grenade for you. Don't know about it. Don't know if I love it.
Is it even a pun?
What is it? Obviously, we know it's I'll catch a grenade for you, but what is it? What is it to do with this story?
So the story is that United are willing to do anything to keep Bruno.
Yeah.
So
and
it's Bruno.
There was a lot of Cristiano on this one.
Yeah, I mean, already.
You said no songs, didn't you?
The problem is, Harry. First of all, throwing other people under the bus. Cristiano's not even on camera, right? And you're literally chucking him under the bus. Secondly, we did try to do not just songs all the time last week, didn't we?
Oh, you're in for a good one then.
Okay, because there are no songs.
Really pushing for the Bruno.
Absolutely no songs.
Is it all songs?
No.
Not all songs.
It's some songs.
Some songs at least.
Some songs.
Right, I'm going to give that a 5 out of 10. I think that's average.
Yeah, so do I.
We take it.
Don't do that. I'm sorry, Chris. Actually, it's a 7 out of 10 now because of your insubordination towards Chris. Here we go. Revealed the plan to keep Bruno Fernandes. Right. We're not trying to sort of make the show end in about 5 minutes. Isn't the plan just don't do anything because he's under contract? You don't have to do anything to keep him. He's got a contract.
Yes, I don't really understand the Bruno Fernandes saga. I didn't think there was one.
Here's my plan.
Yes.
I'm going to not do anything at all because he literally is under contract till 2027.
I have no intention of going.
Exactly. But let's read it anyway. United have told Bruno Fernandes that the club will do everything to keep him at Old Trafford this summer after United reaffirmed that Casemiro will be allowed to leave at the end of his contract in 3 months' time. Sources say that a unanimous decision has been made to try and keep Fernandes. It's understood that Fernandes has been informed of the club's stance since he aired concerns in a Portuguese TV interview before Christmas. United have only have so much control over Fernandes' future because there is a release clause, of £68 million in his contract that can be triggered by foreign clubs. While that may deter some European teams from signing a player with little resale value, it would not be a problem for the Saudis.
Is that true?
Why would they do that? Why have we put a release clause in Bruno's contract? Why would we do that? That's mad, isn't it?
And the whole vibe of this, Casemiro has been allowed to leave, and we're not going to. It's like everyone wants to leave.
Yeah. How desperate to leave is he? Also, we have to accept that. Does Bruno have to leave? If
that's triggered.
Do they?
No.
Doesn't it just
yeah,
mean that
you
we
have to accept a bid. So.
The club has to, but he doesn't have to.
No, he doesn't have to because he has to agree.
So he has to agree to leave.
Yeah.
So that's mad to me, though, that there is a release clause in Bruno's contract. I think we've heard this before and heard these rumours, but when you look at the situation we're in now, why would we put that in there? Who is that for? Who does that
when he
benefit?
signed that contract, unless it's like a timed one, like it's in his last year, but he's not in his last year, is he?
I think, so here's
going into his last year.
It technically is his last season, but we've got an optional +1, which basically means he's never going to leave for free. So I think his contract does run out this summer.
Does it? I thought it was next summer.
But that's if we don't hit the optional +1, which we almost certainly will. So I think we do, he is under contract until the end of next season, assuming we, activate that
I don't know
year.
how true that is, but some players do have like last year of the contract clauses.
Yeah, and I guess there is an idea that if he's in the last year of his contract, in January of next year he can leave for free. So why not get 60 million now as a guarantee rather than letting him leave for free? The real thing we need to do, I think, is give him another probably 2+1 contract, maybe a 3+1 contract.
I think he's probably, well, not to speak for Bruno, but people they generally angle for more than that, don't they? So you'd be looking at a 3-year deal. He'd be able to get that elsewhere.
Yeah, that's true. But
on the money.
United of old, and this was when any player in the world would pick for United, regardless of wages and stuff. Used to only give 1-year deals to players over 30. I know times have changed and players are different, and players of his standard and his fitness and his kind of seeming reliability physically don't grow on trees. There's a difference between a 31-year-old Bruno Fernandes and a 31-year-old Paul Pogba in terms of reliability. But giving a 4-year deal, let's say, I think a 3+1 makes some sense, but even that is a big contract for someone that's 31. Just, in abstract. Obviously, Bruno is a specific case and you can look at it all.
He doesn't really rely too much on his physical attributes, does he? So,
but he does rely on tearing around the pitch all the time.
Yeah.
And how long can that last for? I don't know. Hopefully a long time. But we are in a precarious situation with him. As I said, I'm almost certain there is a +1 in his current deal that he's not just going to run out and leave this summer. But obviously, if someone bids 60 million quid or 56 million quid, we could be in a bit of bother.
Which is a bargain in this market, isn't it?
So, do we know the actual plan to keep Bruno then? Other than we'll do anything, other than the Oliver Twist method? Would you climb a hill, anything, wear a daffodil, anything? Other than that, do we actually know what's going to happen?
And what does that mean?
That's
anything?
Nathan Salt, Chris Wheeler.
Anything for you. Can I click on the article? Let's have a look through the actual beast itself.
Because from my understanding is that we are trying to have more of a wage structure now.
Yeah, and he's one of the most highly paid players at Manchester United.
But not on the crazy money.
Bruno?
Yeah.
Well, he's on 300 plus.
Is he 300 plus?
Yeah, he's on big money.
Less.
Yeah, he is. No, because he's still one of the few that's on that kind of previous contract format. So what are we actually willing to do then? Desperate. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Fernandes is known to have considered a move to one of Europe's top 5 leagues. If he stays at Old Trafford, United may have to offer him a new contract. His current deal has 1 year left to run, although the club do have the option to extend it by 12 months until June 2028. Oh!
Yeah, he's not.
So he's got 2 years left on it.
Yeah,
so he's got 1 year and another year.
That's my understanding.
You were right. So he did have the +1, but he's even got another one. So all we have to do is convince him to not leave. That's it. 2 years left on it. So he's staying until he's 33 anyway, unless someone activates that, which I don't see anyone doing. I think we'll be fine on this, personally.
I think Champions League football is probably all you need.
Exactly. This summer. I completely agree. Let's see what people are saying. Something is wrong with the mic levels. Ben, we're keeping an eye on this, aren't we? Yes.
Good.
If we win the league with Bruno, he would die with a smile. Die with a smile sounds like a very early James Bond film, doesn't it? Yeah, or another Bruno Mars song. Did Gabriel play well? Yes, the United played tonight, didn't they? The under-18s. What was the final score in the end?
3-2.
To United?
Yeah.
So United won 3-2 in the FA Youth Cup. Was it quarter-final?
Yeah.
Or round of the one before that? Let me just find it. Tonight, March 2026. Well, wow, where's the results? There it is. It was It doesn't even say what it was. Was it the quarter-final?
It's hard to find results, isn't it?
It's way too hard to find. Because even on the Man United's website, it just says English FA Youth Cup. It doesn't say what round it was. But United did win 3-2 against Sunderland at Old Trafford. Adam McCullough was there, which was good as well. So check out our story if you want to see more details on that over on Instagram. He was class, apparently, JJ Gabriel. Joe's mic is peaking, that's the issue.
I'm on it.
Ben's on it, so he says. Right, let's move on to our next story. What we got? Tonali fucked off with the Tyne. He's all mine, all mine. Now that's good. But why is it a song? What did we say?
Huh?
What did we say about songs?
I like it.
It's not charts though, is it?
What do you mean it's not charts? None of it's charts. Name one song that we've done that was in the charts. The last one was fucking Tony Christie last time. that was released in 1983.
Just from Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars. That song is it. When did that?
If it wasn't for all the other songs that allow this, I think this is fantastic.
Grenade by Bruno Mars came out 16 years ago.
2010.
Wow. Yeah, but that isn't you winning. Just because you guessed the date right, you didn't get the whole thing. That was a subclause in the argument. We said last week you can't just rely on song titles.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you what, 5 years into this show, and you've actually stumbled across a brilliant method of doing great puns, because this is
2 for 2.
sensational. This is really good.
I had a good one for the Bruno.
But I'm sort of annoyed that you're just doing the same thing over and over again. I don't know how to stop this.
The Bruno one that didn't get clearance from there.
This is like when someone invented the Fosbury flop or whatever it is. Like all of a sudden everyone's jumping 6 feet higher than they were before, and we can't do anything because it's technically not against the rules. So yeah, I guess another great pun, but I just wish we'd have a bit of variety, that's all.
Is it all songs?
No.
Not all songs.
No.
Okay.
Let me just check the next one.
What's the next one? Is it a song?
No, I'm just checking the next one.
Is it a song? Just tell me now. Don't show me it, but is it a song?
Camavinga lends itself
it's
to
not
a song.
It's not a song.
Really?
No, it's not a
Promise.
song.
Is it a chant?
Changing the order.
Okay, great. Yeah, he's switching everything around. Let's get into this story then. This is from the Eye. Man United, Newcastle, and the £100 million saga set to dominate the transfer window. That sounds like one of those sort of books you'd buy in W.H. Smith on the way in the airport, doesn't it? Manchester United, Newcastle, and the £100 million saga set to dominate the transfer window.
Dominated the transfer window.
Yeah. Man United's interest in Sandro Tonali is clear. Whether they are prepared to pay a British record fee and attempt to broker a deal with Newcastle United, who want to hold on to one of their best players this summer. What? Whether that's, I mean, yes, right, I'm obviously reading this wrong, but it's a chunky sentence. Whether they are prepared to pay a British record fee and attempt to broker a deal with Newcastle, who want to hold on to their best players this summer, is not.
That's really
Not
poorly
yet, anyway.
poorly written. That's too much in one go.
It's a mouthful, isn't it? Newcastle would command a fee in excess of £100 million should they decide to cash in on Tonali, who the Magpies believe belongs in the top tier of midfield across the league. Newcastle do not want to lose him, and also do not want to be dragged into the latest round of stories surrounding his future. A little bit meta there. We're sort of breaking the fourth wall a little bit here. Some in the world of recruitment believe he is open to overtures from elsewhere.
The world of recruitment.
This is unreal. The I paper understands that Chelsea are another Premier League club who are monitoring his situation. This article, I mean, this isn't even the full article. I love this. Who wrote this?
Peter Hall.
Is it Peter Hall? Right. We've had him on the channel before, Peter Hall. I like Peter Hall.
You've had him on?
This is like, do you know when someone is just like flexing their muscles in the mirror? This is like, I am going to write a right fucking transfer story. I'm getting everything in there. I'm getting overtures in there, monitoring the situation. Yeah, Man United, the interest is clear. Whether Newcastle fancy selling him is not. Yeah.
Dominate the transfer window. He's big in this.
He belongs in the top tier of midfielders across the league. They don't want to be dragged into the latest round of stories. It's meta, it's introspective, it's breaking the fourth wall. This chunk of text here is absolutely fucking textbook transfer stories, isn't it? Unreal. Just getting everything out there.
Whilst saying very little.
What I will say though is, the Tonali stuff has been sort of ticking over, hasn't it? The links to Tonali have been there. It does seem as though, and we were told, and I think this is just public information at this point, that in January his agent went to Arsenal and said, "Do you want to buy him?" it seems as though he is being sort of touted out by his agent across the Premier League, initially at least, as someone that, whether Newcastle want to sell him or not, looks as though is keen to leave the club. Do you like him? How keen would you be to sign him?
I like Tonali. I think he's a really good player. Newcastle are a much better team. They've got a great midfield, Newcastle. Bruno as well is another player that, if he came available, is one that you'd have to look at. 100 million plus. It's just straight away, isn't it? Whenever it's a central midfielder, you just slap the 100 million plus on them. I don't know, Joe. I feel like in terms of the physicality and the mobility that we're looking to add to the midfield at the moment, maybe Tonali wouldn't be top of my list, but I think Newcastle have a bit of an issue, don't they, with keeping all the players at the minute. I think they've not progressed to where they would like to in order to make it difficult for players to leave. And I think it doesn't surprise me that Tonali's looking elsewhere. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a good player. He's not worth 100 million, just 100% not worth 100 million. When he left, it was AC Milan, wasn't it? Wasn't he their captain when he left?
And for a very young player as well.
Yeah, and he was already very, very highly regarded. Obviously, Italy to the Premier League is a questionable jump at any time. But I think he was 40-odd, 50 million then, wasn't he? But that was because he was already regarded to be a very, very good player. I don't think he has done enough for his price to have doubled in the last couple of years. Like, obviously, he spent 6 months out with a betting ban, which I don't count against him now, but obviously
It's time out, isn't it?
It's time where he wasn't improving his value. I think he's a good player. I think that this idea of everyone who's any good going to anyone is being worth 100 million is absurd. I think he's someone that if they spent 50, he's probably worth 65, 70, and even
maybe
that
80
is
at most.
pushing it. Yeah, I think he's a really good player. I don't think he's in that top bracket. But I'd have him at United alongside someone else. I think they're
seen as central midfielders are just seen as missing link players that can completely transform a team. So I think that they come at a premium at the minute, and he's obviously he's come to the 60 million quid, or was it 50 they paid? Anyone coming from Italy, I think, is a bit of a risk.
Yeah.
They don't always do so well. So the fact that he has been a success in the Premier League, I can see that. I think 65 million would be a bargain. I don't think I think he'll go for closer to 100 million. But I do agree whether he's worth that to Man United anyway.
Yeah.
I would question.
It feels like you said, the midfielders. It seems in recent years have become almost not more valuable, because you still see players like Wirtz and Isak going for over 100 million in attacking positions, but where once a midfielder would be like limited to be 2/3 the price of a striker, now they're as expensive as anyone, like Caicedo and Rice and
Enzo,
another one.
I think of Chelsea and the precedent they've set.
They've just
for the £100 million midfielder.
And United are still the only team in the top sort of 5 or 6, or the big 4 or 5 anyway, that haven't spent 100 million on a player. Because City have with Grealish, Chelsea have multiple times, Liverpool have, Arsenal have,
Close
United haven't. Yeah, it was 89 million, and obviously it's close, but that was 10 years ago now, and we've not beaten it since. So United have clearly changed the way we're doing things, and I don't see us spending 100 million on certainly someone that. How old is he? 26, 25? I know he's not that old, is he? But what is he? 25. So he'll be 26 in May. So by the time we sign him, he's 26. Not by no means is that too old. In fact, it's perfect to have the next 5 years in his prime. But we'll see. I think if you can get him for a good chunk under 100, I think there's a chance. But I think if they're holding out for triple figures, I don't see it happening.
I think it's a saga set to dominate the transfer window. I think it's going to be a saga of central midfielders. There's Wharton, there's going to be Anderson, Baleba may come back into the conversation. There's going to be a few names getting thrown about, and probably expect us to be heavily involved in one of them. And
the other thing as well with Tonali, in terms of his prices, it's clear that either he or his agent or both want out.
It's pushing it, yeah.
That helps. You can't. It's not like Isak. I know Isak wanted to leave, but I don't think that. I think Newcastle were so certain he wouldn't go. Whereas for me, if his agent is out speaking to people, maybe that is completely against the wishes of Newcastle. But I would assume that Newcastle are aware of this and are either letting it happen or maybe somewhat resigned to the idea that it might. I think if everyone wanted to stay and you're pushing against the tide that that's where you get your £100 million fees, But I don't know. I think he's very good. I think he's an excellent player, but I just don't. I wouldn't have him as the starting player to build your team around. For me, he's not even Newcastle's best midfielder.
Agreed.
I think Bruno Fernandes is a better player. So I don't know. Not that
we're going to need a couple of players as well. So I think that the idea that we're going to get £100 million player, maybe we will. Maybe there's money coming in from the Champions League, and players that are leaving the club are going to free up a lot of money. But I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, obviously loads of people in the comments. Joe is dressed like he works at a hipster barber's. That's not a bad point, actually. I am wearing some sort of smock, aren't I, after all? You guys really don't know football. Tonali, not a top player. Jokers. Or we do think he's a great player, but we just slightly disagree.
I think Tonali's brilliant, man.
You do think he's a top player.
Excellent player.
I think he's just in that bracket below. I think you've got that real elite top level guys that, like you said, can change a team, and I think he's just in that bracket below that. And we're probably going to get 2 players from that bracket, but I think anything over 100 million.
Exactly, it'd be a great addition, but it all comes down to the fee, doesn't it? It's value in the market.
Exactly. Right, let's move on to our next story. Then what we got? This is the juicy one. Camavinga. What we got? Edward, bro, can I ring you?
It's not a song.
It's not a song. You know what? We all wish it was, don't we? We all wish it was.
Bro, can I ring?
Steve M just says lazy. Lazy. That's lazy, that. I'll tell you what, I don't think it's lazy. I think, if anything, it's absolutely overcooked and complicated for no reason. People are enjoying seeing it, but they're not rating it very highly at the moment. I like it. Yeah, that's fair enough. Haha. Let's not buy Camavinga, please. Yeah, people are enjoying it. What do you reckon?
Nice change from a song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace. Eduardo, bro, can I ring you? Actually, I like it more. I read it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. I think it's quite good. This is according to Team Talk and Marca as well, or Marca over in Spain. Let's get into this because it's the first sort of story of this kind of saga, I guess. Is Camavinga available to buy? We'll find out. So Liverpool, Man United on red alert as Real Madrid stars agent makes summer transfer plan clear. Here we go. Intermediaries acting on behalf of Eduardo Camavinga have begun briefing clubs that the Real Madrid midfielder will be available for transfer this summer, with Liverpool currently leading the chase, but with Manchester United and Chelsea both also registering early interest, with the Spanish giants preparing for a summer of major change both in the dugout and with their first team squad. I mean, you could apply that to Man United as well as Real Madrid. Camavinga is one player who will be made available for transfer and will be allowed to leave. Marca also revealed that Madrid will listen to offers. He's not untouchable. There are already Premier League clubs interested in him. For now, Real Madrid hasn't set a price, but it's clear they don't want to go below 50 million. So 50 million then, because we're not going to go any higher than we have to. First of all, what do you make of him as a player?
I think he's a good player. I think he's a player. We were involved in. I think we were the other team involved in the race to sign him, weren't we?
Yeah.
From Rennes. It was Rennes, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I'll double check.
For quite a nice fee of around £30 million or something.
It wasn't a lot at all.
It
was Rennes.
Yeah, I think he was only 16, 17 at the time. I feel like this has been a theme of the past few years. He's not a player that has managed to hold down a place in the centre of the midfield like it was thought he might do. I thought he had a nice spell, didn't he, where he was being utilised as a full-back. He's a good player. He's a physical player. In that sense, he'd probably be quite suited to the Premier League. He's very athletic, but I'm always sceptical of players that Madrid are happy to let go. That fee's not crazy.
No.
That's now the fee for a good squad player, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
in and around 50, maybe slightly less.
And if that's Euros as well,
yeah.
The only issue for me is injuries. I was looking before. He's had, since the start of last season, he's had 7 injuries, totaling 45 games missed.
We'll still clear then.
Since the start of the 24. Let me just double check that. I think since the start of the 24-25 season, he's had 7 injuries, totaling 45 games. Like, that's just too much, isn't it? You can't. Before that, he'd had a sort of standard number of injuries. You get 1 or 2 little ones a season, but it was after sort of that knee ligament injury he had in the 23-24 season, then an ankle sprain, and then so from the start of last season, knee injury, muscle injury, couple of hamstrings, couple of ankles. He's been out for 11 days with toothache, man, and he's only just come back from that. But yeah, 10-4, 6, 14, 6, 3 and 2 games for those injuries. That's just too much, isn't it?
Taking a chance.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like when I'm sure there was some talk about the possibility of Reece James being made available for transfer going back a year. And on paper, if you can get someone like Reece James for a cut price deal, I think he's probably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, he's amazing when he's fit.
But there was that question mark. Now he's had a season probably of most uninterrupted football he's had for a few years. But you still have a question mark over
he also did his hamstring yesterday. Or 2 days ago, yeah. Reece James is literally, but that's to your point.
And the hamstring is the
never-ending issue.
His issue.
Like that's the point. Like, so now let's imagine somehow Chelsea had a miracle and won and went through yesterday. You've got your best player missing for the quarters and the semis, and you think that cost you. I remember when we were second or first in the league on New Year's Day under Solskjaer, and Paul Pogba got injured, and we dropped points in sort of 3 of the next 6 games, and the title race was over. Sheffield United, Everton, and a lot of it came down to Pogba missing most of the rest of that season, and we finished I think a distant second in the end. But these things matter when you've got players that you're relying on, and also we've already got Mason Mount, who has had an injury-ravaged now 3 seasons at Manchester United. We've got Matthijs de Ligt, who no one even knows what's up with him. I know it's a back injury, but that's the only word we're hearing. Martinez, another player that it seems to be injured more often than not. I think buying someone where they're injury prone, I think is just a bad idea.
I think what tends to happen for these kind of players either is there's a significant cut price transfer, or it's a series of loans. They run down the contract, and then someone else will take a chance. That's the best chance you can take, is bringing a player like this for free. Yeah, paying him a good wage, and we give him another chance to see if they can put the injuries behind them. But
like you said, you get him on loan and hope he can have an injury-free season. And all right, we found the source of this.
Yes,
the ankle stuff was coming from the knee. It all stemmed from that original knee injury. We've had a look at it,
and now all his metrics are improving.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Stronger. That's when maybe you take a look. But I can't imagine anyone going out and spending good money on a player thinking he's going to be the solution to our problems, because, like you say, it's no good if he's in the treatment room.
If he's out all the time. Right, let's move on. Actually, let's see what people are saying first. You've convinced me. Don't touch him. Thanks. We need a few new midfielders. Camavinga, Tonali from Newcastle. They want someone to keep Mount company. That's nice. Well, that's what De Ligt's doing at the minute, isn't it? What's this? Shut up. I know that if you call him... Sorry, I don't know if you can call him injury-prone. His worst season was last year and still played 35 matches. The thing is, I don't know when someone becomes injury-prone or not. I think that's just up to your interpretations, isn't it? But for me, if you're missing, multiple 5 to 10... So he's had 7 injuries since the start of last season. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those have been 5 or more games. 1 was 10, 1 was 14, 1 was 6, and 2 was 6. That's big chunks of time to be missing. And I just think, I don't know when someone goes from having a bad season with injury to being injury prone. That's up for anyone's interpretation. But the fact he's already missed, 12 games this season through injury, I
still feel like throughout that time he's been a player that invariably they've been open to selling.
Yeah, and I think he's good.
Yeah,
I do think he's very good. But like you said, even if he hadn't been injury prone, or he hadn't had injuries over the last few seasons, he's still not someone that is guaranteed to start from. And in a Real Madrid team that, up until this Man City tie, everyone was telling you was subpar and way off where they had been in recent seasons. They're not top of the league. They didn't win the league last season, and he's still not guaranteed to play in that team. So, I think, like you said, if you can have a season where he puts it past him, or you get him really cheap or on a free after his contract's run out, or on loan, I'd be up for that. But otherwise, I don't think it's worth the risk. Right, let's move on to our next story. What we got? Corn in the USA. Right. I've got some explaining to do for you now. No, don't say let's educate Tom. Like, what it's done, all it's done is shine a light on how sort of inverted and self-serving this show is, and we need a real conversation. So months and years ago, there was a Kobbie Mainoo pun that was corn on the cobby, butter him up. And it went down in infamy as just the shittest, most over-the-top pun. I think his face was all yellow with corned cobs on it. And everyone lost their mind because it was just too ridiculous. And since then now, it's become tradition that any kind of Kobbie Mainoo story has got a corn-based pun.
Yeah. Okay.
So now we've got corn in the USA, which is actually, if you do follow that through line from the corn on the Kobbie up to right now, it's a good pun because the World Cup is in the USA. It's actually very good. But it did.
And everyone here gets it.
Everyone here gets it.
It's
but
for
it did
them.
make me feel slightly embarrassed that I had to explain all that to you there, Tom.
Sorry.
I'm laughing at a comment here. Who are the two dweebs in flight control?
To me, when it cuts, it looks like the VAR room.
It does, yeah. The worst VAR room ever. One of them's wearing the home team kit, one of them's wearing the away team kit. Who are the two dweebs in flight control?
Two dweebs.
Luke quite rightly just says music again.
Yeah, well,
He's furious.
I feel about that it's the last one.
It's the last music one.
Song.
Okay, and it is a very good one. Corn in the USA, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Well done. This is from the BBC. Carrick hoping for England calls for Man United trio to head to upcoming friendlies and World Cup. England's squad for the friendlies against Uruguay and Japan will be released on Friday morning. Apart from Marcus Rashford, who is on loan at Barcelona, Tuchel has not named a Manchester United player in any squad since taking charge just over a year ago. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire and Kobbie Mainoo will hope that changes. Carrick has not spoken to anyone at the FA but hopes that his players make it. Carrick said, "I'd love to see them picked for this one and for the summer. That I don't have any influence on that. But the way they're playing, they've put themselves in the picture and given themselves a chance. They're playing well enough to warrant a place." It's mad that Maguire, Shaw and Kobbie have not played a single minute under Thomas Tuchel, isn't it? When they were both like, all of them except maybe Maguire.
Yeah, Shaw I'm surprised at, but maybe...
He's been playing centre-back, left-sided centre-back in a back three for his season, hasn't he?
Yeah, but now obviously that's reversed.
Yeah.
I think they're all no-brainers to go. I think Maguire should be the first centre-half.
So who would you do? What would you do? Him and Mark Gay, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this the weekend, weren't we? There is still a part of me that thinks if you can get John Stones fit.
Yeah, one last ride.
Because I think he's an unbelievable player. But yeah, I think Maguire makes sense, especially for England. Yeah. I also think that with the options at left back, I still think you have to take Luke Shaw, and he'd be my starting left back
over Lewis Hall.
I
think Lewis Hall is a fantastic player, by the way. But I do think in tournaments, there's a reason why the teams that win tournaments are often filled with players on their last or second to last big tournament.
It's experience in them big games,
so massive,
and I think you've got great options. I was in the past, the manager's been playing full, players on the wrong side. That left back seemed to be a bit of an issue, an area where, well, if Luke Shaw's not fit, who have you got? Now you do have options. You've got O'Reilly at City, who I think should definitely be in the squad as well because he's very versatile.
Yeah.
But I would expect all three of them to go. Although I think they should. With Mainoo, I get it with Mainoo. It's 6 months of not playing. Yeah. I can understand why he's not been in squads, but he's playing in the last final. I do think that he should be in the conversation more than he is. I feel like he's almost ignored.
Yeah.
Like he's gone right back to being someone who's got to prove himself again.
Yeah. I guess it's because it's the new manager, isn't it? But I agree. I don't know how many midfielders they normally take, 6 or 7, whatever it is. But
for me, he offers something different.
He definitely should go, yeah. And I think his comfortableness, whatever the word is, on the ball is pretty unique. I think the way he controls the ball and slows the game down at times or speeds it up at times, I think not a lot of players can do that. I think there are players with better passing range and players who sort of sit on the ball a bit more than he does. But just the way, how good he is, weirdly for his age, in those high pressure last 10 minutes of games. I'd rather have him on the pitch for the last 10 minutes of a match than an Elliot Anderson or an Adam Wharton.
That's
it. I think he's a goal threat. I think he controls the game, and I think he wins the ball back in high areas, and his touches in and around the box are better than any of those lads. Whether he starts, I doubt, but I think he should be there. 100%.
It's the nature of a squad, isn't it? It's even if it's for certain types of games or moments in games that you might want him. There's no point in just having incrementally worse players.
Yeah.
That your fourth choice midfielder isn't going to get in. It's better to have someone who offers something different.
Well, that's what sort of Henderson would be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Jordan Henderson might go, but we hope we don't have to play him. Take Lee Evans.
Yeah.
To do a bit of comedy for the troops. Like, you don't need Jordan Henderson knocking about just because he's a good lad. Like, we could take Maguire for that, first of all, someone who actually should play.
Yeah.
And then take someone that, you don't want someone who, oh my God, I'm going to have to bring him on. Well, why
it's
would you do
unbelievable
that?
to me that Henderson is being talked about.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised he brought him back in.
Me too. I agree exactly with what Wayne Rooney said on Stick to Football when they were all saying, Neville was saying, if I had to pick Henderson or I'd pick I'd pick Henderson, I'd pick one of Wharton or Mainu. And then Rooney's like, well, Henderson gave up his right to play for England, or even not his right, but his chance to play for England. When he left the Premier League, he went to Saudi for all that money. Part of the agreement that you make there subconsciously is, I'm no longer competing against the best players in the world, and therefore, if a player in a better league has a better season or just as good a season as me, they get to go ahead of me, because you can't just leave and then, I know he came back 5 months later, played for Ajax for a bit, didn't really do very well there, came to Brentford, did all right, but isn't starting for them every week either. That's 2 years ago now. Why would? He's completely done.
I don't understand why. He doesn't hold anything to these players now. You're talking about Mainu aside, but with Wharton and Anderson and what people are prepared to pay for them this summer.
Yeah.
These are brilliant players, and I don't think other serious nations that have a chance of winning this tournament would be having the same conversation about their Jordan Henderson equivalent.
No. Let's say that money was no object. Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Man United, Arsenal wouldn't swap Wharton, Anderson, Mainu or Rice for Jordan Henderson. If you just for one, for the last 8 games you can play either of them. You're all picking the one that you've already got. They're just better players than Jordan Henderson.
There's so much experience in that team.
Yeah.
It'd be very different if you had an overall talented but very young group of players.
Yeah.
You've got potentially Maguire, Kane now.
Yeah, Kane's 32, 33.
Declan Rice. You don't need it.
I think there's a good balance there already. I don't think you need to force play. People like Pickford. This is what his 5th or 6th tournament now. I think we're good. 26-man squad expected. You can take them all. Good point. I agree. It's Ben Top says, Corn in the USA is class. We need midfielders, but we honestly need fullbacks just as much, or almost as much, sorry. Interested to see who will make that list. Yeah, that is a list that seems to be being populated quietly behind the scenes, and I wonder, that width on the left-hand side in particular, we're talking to Carl Anker about. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out, how that issue is going to be resolved, whether it's going to be a squad thing or just a coaching thing, but I think we definitely need some fullbacks. Let's have a look at the stadium stuff. What we got? Rage bait liner. What's that then? How does that work?
Well, we're waiting for the Freightliner thing, aren't we?
It's a bit modern. Rage bait.
No, I know what rage bait means. But rage bait and freight is a very sort of weak pun, isn't it? Rage bait sounding like freight.
We can't get the land off him.
No, I know the story. Don't explain the story to me. We can't get the bloody land off them. I know the story, man.
They're rage baiting us.
Joe, you're not listening.
It's rage bait liner. Right, whatever. This is according to the Daily Mail. United, I mean, we've known this. How long have we known this for? We've known this for 12 months, haven't we, that we can't get this bloody freight line space off them. United target planning application for 2 billion Wembley of the North as Old Trafford revamp gathers pace. This is the Daily Mail. Speaking at a property trade show in Cannes, France, Colette Roche told the audience that work was going on behind the scenes and suggested that movement was imminent. Have we got Colette's job title on there? She's sort of basically spearheading this from Man United's point of view, isn't she? I don't know a specific job title, but I know that she has been basically given the role of overseeing the stadium redevelopment. She's been at United for a long time. She recently changed from a role as COO, Chief Operating Officer, to oversee the stadium stuff. So she's been at United for a long time. She's one of the few people sort of basically above the manager that predates Ineos that's still there. So obviously very highly regarded. She's very trusted to have not lost a job in the last 3 years, and obviously overseeing this. So that's why she's relevant to this story. Says that she told the audience that work was going on behind the scenes and suggested that movement was imminent. While she did not go into great detail, Roche said that an end to the issue was in sight. We're spending a lot of time with local council to say, what's your ambition? how many houses? Where's the best place to put them? So hopefully by the time we get to the planning application in 12 to 18 months, we won't be starting from fresh. Then we can start to build the plans. It starts now. The stadium is expected to cost upward of $2 billion. For Man United, they will need they say they will fund construction but are seeking public cash for infrastructure around the wider 370-acre project. This to me, and I don't know how, this is the problem, isn't it? Colette Roach was speaking at a trade show in Cannes, and now we're seeing these quotes and we're having to respond to them as though they're a press release that was kind of perfectly written, worded and rewritten. But it does feel a little bit sort of a politician being pressed on a policy that they haven't quite ironed out yet. Yeah, exactly. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, there'll be a lot of wrangling going on behind the scenes, won't there, in terms of how this breakdown looks. I believe that there's obviously a lot of planned investment, which that's what's being talked about there at the end, in terms of how much of that Man United are going to fund directly. But I mean, that's natural. A lot of this is from public funding. But I guess the club, they want to minimise that, don't they?
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I mean,
the extent to which they are funding the stuff that isn't going to be directly their business in their stadium.
Well, that's the interesting part, because the place where what my understanding is, the freight terminal that has been the big problem here is on the land where they want to build the stadium. So that would be up to United to pay for that. I think the area around it, some of it is owned by United, some of it I think maybe council owned, and obviously the council will help potentially build housing, flats, shops, some of the parks and infrastructure stuff, which would make sense, because when that land being for the public, and I don't know who, to be fair, I don't know who owns that land. So if, let's say, some flats are built on that, do the council build those flats and then United get to sell them? I don't know. But that's obviously something that needs working out. But you wouldn't expect necessarily United to be paying for the roads and the connections and the links and all that sort of stuff. And if this is going to be an area with, shops and retail and public kind of spaces, that the council paying for some of that makes some sense. It doesn't make sense that they would pay for the stadium, because that's Man United's property and home and all that sort of stuff.
There's often a lot of stipulations on council land.
Yeah.
I think that's part of your bid to take it. You see it in town all the time. With if you're going to win the bid and you're going to get this development, well, you're going to need to do this. You're going to need to. I mean, I think you see it often with restoring listed buildings that are on sites. You have to incorporate this, or you have the responsibility, blah blah blah. So there'll be all these that they're having to go through with the council. There'll be a lot they'll have to agree to.
And the thing I don't understand is, why is it taking so long? Because I get that this freight terminal, they don't want to sell it, or they want more money or whatever. But I wonder, when a transfer deal gets done, it gets done in a number of weeks. And obviously this isn't just a transfer deal, but it is essentially arguing back and forth about the price that something's going to cost. Why is it taking 12 months already, and then we're hearing how many houses, where's the best place to put them? By the time we get to the planning application in 12 to 18 months, we won't be starting from fresh. Then we start to build the plans. So it's like we're expecting another 12 to 18 months before we even kind of have the layout sorted. And then we've got to build the bastard. And they said 5 years.
I think it's very underdeveloped land, but in a prime location with Media City and with everything that this is going to be. With some stadiums, if it's in every stadium's different, isn't it? So some of them will be further out of town. Maybe it's easier to agree what it's going to look like and what you're going to provide for the area. Whereas this, I think it's. I understand if they're moving beyond the actual land they own at the moment. Just with where it is around Salford, I think it's probably a bit more complicated. Yeah,
and 20 years ago, this probably would have been a lot easier. When the whole area wasn't quite so built up and excited and excited and sought after, they could have done. And also, here's the other thing. We always talk about United being a kind of, it's not just a business, it's a kind of a local sort of landmark. It's also a part of the community and all that sort of thing. Man United should have been doing more for that area for the last 100 years that ground has been on the stadium, on that land. Certainly in the Premier League era, when the money just exploded. The fact that Gary Neville owns the only hotel within walking distance to Old Trafford that's any good is absurd. The fact that nothing around that land is exciting to go and visit, that is ran by United, that they don't put anything on there, that they never have anything exciting to do post game, other than the megastore. That's basically the only thing that they've added. And that's not any way you can spend time, it's just the place you can spend money. That land should already be a dozen times better than it is now, and should have been being built up for the last 25, 30 years with Man United, by Man United, with the local area in mind. And if that had been happening, we might not have to tear down the stadium. We could have been updating and keeping that whole part of Manchester much more sort of nicely pieced together and put together than it is. And we could have just been topping up the south stand, putting the quadrants in.
It's genuinely neglected.
It's just been
It's not changed
United have
since
neglected it.
When I went in the 90s for the first time, nothing, the Trafford pub and the shops there, that area.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is the hotel, and obviously if you go over the, it's quayside over the way, because that's changed a lot with Media City. A lot of that's changed. There was a bit of dead land for a while, and that's all been very developed. I think that leads into why this is complicated now, because there are big plans for how this area is going to look.
But United should have been at the forefront of that from the very start, not catching up, 10, 12 years after Media City?
There's been zero
15
involvement.
years? Yeah, it's just, it's absurd. How dare you knock the Premier in? Yeah, apologies to the Premier in, but I think that sort of proves my point, doesn't it? It's ridiculous that United haven't been making that whole part of Manchester desirable until Media City moved in 15 years ago. Final story, what we got?
Double punner.
It's a double punner. What's that mean? We've never had this. Double pun protocol. Dim the main light, just have the red lights on.
No. Yeah, we've got a pun that's pretty safe and then one that's a little bit.
Are we going to get? Right,
let's see the
both
safe
together
one.
or?
I did one, Ben did one. See if you can get
Let's see the safe one. Hook, line, and Sinky. Helsinki, the capital of
Helsinki
Finland.
Friendly. Hook, line and sinker.
It's not bad. Okay, yeah. What's the other one? A Hollywood link for one in the sink. Now it has to be said, Tom bloody loved that one. Tom loved that. He laughed. He held his hands to his mouth. He leant backwards. He guffawed. He chuckled. He loved it.
Yeah.
People in the comments are liking it. 6 out of 10. And 6 out of 10 for the first one. 8 out of 10 for the second one.
That's great.
Fair play. Let's get into this. Well done. A nice finale there from you two. Good stuff. Helsinki Friendly versus Wrexham confirmed. This is according to the Daily Mail. United are close to announcing plans for their European pre-season tour, but Confidential can confirm that one of the matchups, as first revealed by Daily Mail Sport, United will head to Helsinki this summer and take on Hollywood-backed Wrexham. While numerous top-flight sides are still committing to touring the US this summer, despite concerns around the World Cup fatigue in North America, United are instead prioritising multiple matches in Europe. United and Wrexham faced off in San Diego in July 2023, and they will renew that rivalry on July the 18th in Finland as part of their summer tour, which is likely to include emerging young talents such as JJ Gabriel and presumably someone else, because it says talents there, but we ain't got time for that. Not too much to go into there. No. It's just a bit of news. I think for anyone else who is in that part of the world, or even the thing is, for the first time, I know loads of Reds go over to America and to Australia from England, but this is one where you could feasibly go and visit one of these places. It's not that.
You can get a ferry over to Tallinn.
Yeah, you can do all of that. There's all sorts to do. So trip. I think it's going to be Sweden, Norway, and Finland. And then I think there was rumours as well of Poland and Ireland. Okay. So obviously, United fans from all around Europe are getting a taste of the pre-season tour, which is good to see as well. And I think it's been great going to. We go every year. Yeah. It's been great going to America, but I do think, give someone else a chance to see United for a change, because it's been 4 years now since United went over to the Far East, and was it Thailand and Australia as well at times. I think they went to China as well. So, I think
nice for you.
A bit different. Yeah, it should be fun.
Going around Europe.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to bring out some different people as well to different games and make a bit of a good time of it. So, yeah, there you go. United play Wrexham. Wrexham just getting all the deals, aren't
renewing that rivalry.
Yeah, renewing the rivalry versus Wrexham. Yeah, we'll see. Wish we could build the stadium at least in another 10 years' time. Well, I think that's probably what it's going to be, isn't it? It's going to be a long time till that new stadium comes. not going to lie, lads, the amount of negativity towards a potential Camavinga signing, considering our current midfield options, seems pretty wild, according to Wig. The thing is, I think unfortunately for Camavinga, all my thoughts on it are there are better options.
Yeah.
It's not that he's a bad player, it's that there's probably 6 or 7 midfielders I'd have over him. And you know, again, if that's what I would do, then I would prefer to have them. So I think United can easily get 1 or 2 of Baleba, Wharton, Anderson. Who else is on the kind of list? Tonali, Guimaraes. Give me any 2 of them before we get to Camavinga.
Caught up in names when it's Real Madrid and it's Barcelona. Yeah. In reality, I think better options here in the Premier League.
If he could stay fit for 45 games next season, he's a great player and he would play most of those games. I'm sure he'd play all 45 for United. I think he'd get minutes and he'd be excellent for us. That's not my issue. I think the combination of ability and availability is better in a few of the other players that we've seen. Well, that's it. Lane Martin says, where is Jay Motti? The people demand him. The other guy is top as well, by the way, so that's nice for you, Tom. Jay Motti has been away, nursing his spawn, horrible phrase. Sorry about that. He's had a bathing. All is well on that front, and he's hopefully going to be making his way back onto your screens next week. So tomorrow, what have we got? We've got all sorts. We've got Off the Bar, we've got the news as well, and then on Friday we've got the watch along for Manchester United versus Bournemouth. And then you blink and Jay will be back, so it's very, very exciting. But thank you very much, Tom,
for
coming on these shows while Jay's been away. I may need to call on you again, depending on Jay's availability over the next few weeks, but it's been an absolute pleasure again. Thank you.
I'm always happy. It's a pleasure.
Good. Thank you for joining us at home as well. Before we go, though, if we just cut to producer cam one last time. You've been doing your little kit-offs, haven't you, lads?
It's 1-1 at the minute.
It's 1-1 at the minute, so every day
Friday.
Producers Harry and Ben have been wearing a different retro or recent kit and getting people to vote on which one they like the best. Could you cast a vote before I reveal the Instagram votes?
What have we got there?
So we've got Italy, I'll tell you what they are. Italy 2014 for Ben, and the Bayern away kit 98-99 for Harry.
I think I had that Italy team. Italy top. I think we bought it for our 5-a-side team. I like the Bayern one.
The Bayern one is good, isn't it? And also, he's playing on people's heartstrings. Bayern Munich in '99 is good because it's a nice kit and it brings back positive. No, they didn't wear that shirt, but it brings back memories of that time, doesn't it? And I can say on that note, the winner on this day is Harry with 69% of the vote for the Bayern Munich shirt there. Unlucky Ben. Unlucky stuff.
That is okay.
It's okay indeed.
We've got till Friday.
We've got till Friday.
United shirts on Friday.
You can still earn it back in its United shirts on Friday. They're really loving this, and we're loving it.
This was actually
I've got lots of shirts.
Cola,
if you want to give me, just send me a message. I've got some cool
there
ones.
were people voting for the Moldova shirt as well that you brought as well, so don't worry about that. Right, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you check out the merch as well. Loads of good stuff in there. Check out the link stretfordpaddock.store. Once again, Tom, thank you for coming on. Thank you for joining us at home. This has been Paddock Live. We'll see you in a bit.